You're listening to Season 4, Episode 2 of the Indie Artist Tribe podcast with me, your host, Angela Matamocha. Welcome. Today's episode is brought to you by Angie Seeger, CEO of MWW Management and Sponsorships Worldwide Incorporated. Today's guest is literally the epitome of a multi-hyphenate. He plays drums, he plays saxophone, he sings, dances, he does spoken word, he does poetry, he's created his own fashion. He has the most explosive stage presence ever. Legendary frontman of Fishbone. I bring to you, good people, Angelo Moore. Angelo, welcome.
Hi.
I see your feet.
What's up? What's happening?
What is
That was
happening?
good. Thank you for that very illustrious and magnificent introduction.
You know, you're so welcome. One of the reasons I started this podcast, I am so inspired and fascinated by artists like yourself that can do so many things. It blows my mind. So let's just dive right in. I mean, with everything you do, tell me, what is the thing or what is the project that you're most excited about right now?
It's a hard one, man, because I got a bunch of shit happening.
I know.
I got a bunch of stuff happening. Okay, so here's what I want to show you first. Let me show you this one first, because I got a bunch of stuff that I'm excited about, but I'm going to start with this one first. Okay, look. This one just came out.
This is Dr. Mad Vibe and the Missing Links.
Let me turn this on real quick.
Yes. Yes.
So this is Dr. Mad Vibe and the Missing Links, right? This is the art installation, double album. Okay, this is the double album, right? Dr. Mad Vibe and the Missing Links, that's the front, that's the back. You open that up, is the art installation, and this side is the music, right? And so this is the art installation. And it's the book that goes with it. Look at all this art, man. You got art of the band, you got the band pick, the title of the song, and then you got lyrics that goes with some band pick, some art, and then art by Masai Mizuyama. All these illustrations in here are by Masai Mizuyama, man. She's out of Osaka, Japan. Right, so this is all the lyrics, art, band picks, everything else. Desiree, that's the name of the song down there, and you got lyrics.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if I'm correct, is this the one that you're only making 500 copies of?
Only making 500 copies, so you got to get it quick, right? So you got that right there, and then you got the double album that goes with it on the music side. Cause see, the music side got me blowing the saxophone, so that's the music side, right?
Wow.
So then, here's what it looks like. There's one,
Ooh.
and then there's two.
Oh my gosh, it's like all gold and swirly. These vinyl records he's showing us, you guys, for those that are just listening and not watching the video. This is fantastic. So it's a double album, a bunch of incredible artwork.
Crazy art, all the lyrics. I got pics of the band. I got illustrations by Masai Mizuyama. I got.
This is incredible. And what I love about this is probably going to be a collector's item because you're only releasing 500 units.
That's right.
That is freaking fantastic.
That's right.
All right, let's talk about.
Wait, but there's more. Hold up.
There's more.
So this is how you get it.
Okay. Pre-vinyl order. You know what? I'm going to also make sure we have that in the link as well in the show notes.
I'm going to send you a bunch of stuff after I show you this. Okay, now this is my other project called A Brand New Step.
The Brand New Step. Yes.
The brand New Step is it's more like mainstream dance music, electronic dance music and stuff like that, you know? So I dove into this like about 3 albums ago and a bunch of releases and a bunch of videos. I got Dale the Homo Sapien on this new single that's coming out on my birthday, November 5th, which is in a couple of days, right? And so that's one of the albums, and it's called Centuries of Heat, and I did it with Jim Greer, Green Diamond Jim, and Chris Jensen. Now
Oh,
here's another
wow.
way I put my release out, and I only got one of them with me because I got like a whole package that goes with this. Look, let me show you here. This is the instrumental.
Oh, cool. What?
Do that. See that? Check that out.
Oh,
There's the
wow.
front. There's the back, and you flip that open, and you put that chip in your computer or your USB port in your car, and all the music is in there. And I got a greeting card that goes with this, and I got some stickers to go with this with the QR code on it. You can scan the QR code. You can see my art project called Avant Presidents and Avant Icons, right? And so it's the stickers that I bring with me and I pass out everywhere, and I give them to people when they get something. I give them to them, right? They can scan the code, and you can see me. You can see me showing you how to pose with the art, observe the art gazing. Some people don't know how to art gaze, man. You got to be able to gaze at the art and check it out and look at all the details in there and the little inflections and the depth and the width and hither and thither and all that shit in the art piece.
Let me ask you this. I want to talk about your inspiration. You do so many things. Do you have a process when you're creating? How do you decide, okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, now I'm going to do this.
Well, you got to pick one and focus on it, which sometimes is hard because I got ADD like a motherfucker, right? But it comes in handy because then you end up having to multitask because you got all these different ideas and dreams you want to manifest and missions in your head that you want to accomplish and initiate and finalize. So you got to reach up into the tornado and pull out one and work on that one until you could get as far as into it you can get it, and then you switch to another one.
Have you always been like that since you were young? Did you always have just a millions of ideas just going in your head?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like it. But I'm really proud of this. I've been waiting for this to come out for a while, so I'm pretty proud of it. I've been yeah, I'm a multitasker. The missing Dr. Mad Bob, the Missing Links, punk rock, ska, reggae, funk, jazz. You got the Angela Moore and the Brand New Step, which is electronic dance music, funk, rap. You got a lot of collaborators on that too.
How did you learn to play the saxophone? I want to bring it back.
Junior high school in Mr. Robbins' class. And I was playing alto saxophone.
Alto sax. Okay.
Yeah, and that's my dad suggested that I play the saxophone. I wanted to play the synthesizer because I liked all the weird noises and the sounds, but he's like, man, fuck that. Just take the saxophone and learn this,
Did he come from music?
Yeah, he played saxophone with Count Basie for a while.
Really? So music has always been in your world, it sounds like.
Yeah, I was always hearing a lot of jazz and R&B and soul music at home. All in the Richard Pryor, Rudy Ray Moore era.
Wow. What is your favorite instrument to play?
Lately, it's been my organ. Lately, it's been the organ. I've been playing double tier organ, and I'll play that with the Missing Links. So that's it's opened up a whole nother part of my brain.
And how did you learn to play the organ?
Kind of self-taught, yeah. My grandma Annabelle Johnson, used to play the organ and the piano for the First Day Street Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. And so that's kind of in my roots. It's in my DNA to play the piano and the organ. And so, shit, man, probably like about 6 years ago, I picked it up. I started playing it. Started coming through. I figured it was about that time for it to come through. Saxophone's the first instrument. Yeah. So I play all the saxophones. I play the soprano, alto, tenor, the baritone, and the bass sax.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've seen you drum as well.
And then later on, I had to learn how to play the drums. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So let me ask you, when you got into your first band way back when you started with Fishbone, were you playing any instruments at that time?
Saxophone.
Right. So straight out the gate, you stuck with your first instrument.
Out the gate with saxophone, yeah.
And back then, were you writing lyrics? Because you have a lot of lyrics.
Yeah, I got a lot of lyrics. So I was writing a lot of lyrics back then, just about just life as I'm going through my life, just right. My mom was an English teacher. My mom and my dad were English teachers for the LA Unified School District. They're both English teachers, and my dad did a lot of sign language in his field. And then my mom was an English teacher, and she taught a lot of typing and stuff. So I got a lot of that going on too.
So writing for you was obviously in your DNA as well. When you write, again, do you have a process? Do you just sort of walk down the street and like, bam, here's an idea? Or do you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write? What's your process like?
Usually, I mean, sometimes it comes into my head when I'm walking down the street or driving, which is kind of the worst time because then I'm not sitting in front of my pen or my paper able to write. So if it's really knocking at my head really hard like that, then I just gotta like go somewhere and pull out a pen or paper and write it down. I'm not too good at grabbing the phone and pressing record for some reason. It's hard for me to get it out like that. So usually it's spinning around in my head for a pretty long time. And if it keeps fucking with me that long and that loud, I have to sit down and write it down or else I'll forget it.
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
I think it may have been Ma and Pa.
Really? And how did you know, after writing it, how did you know that, okay, this is going to be a song, this is not going to be a poem, this is not going to go in, like, how do you know what you write is going to be a song or going to be a poem, or is there any difference for you?
Well, first, I know it's going to be a poem because you got to write it first. And later on, it eventually turns into a song.
So it comes out as poetry first.
Unless it's like a story. If it's a story, then most likely it's going to stay a story. But some of my stories have turned into songs.
How do you have, or especially in the early days, how did you have the confidence to know this is good? This is going to be a good song. This is a good story. How did you know? So many artists doubt themselves,
Oh my God, I know a couple of them too. And I'm always telling them, don't doubt yourself because if you do that, well, then you won't get your idea out. You just keep telling yourself you're not good enough. I gotta be better than this other person over here. Or comparing yourself to other people can be detrimental to manifesting and completing your art. Because if you compare yourself to others, then you'll start to doubt yourself. But if you just pay attention to what you got going on and not think about anybody else, then that's the key right there, because then you can get it out of you. You can write it down, or if you got like a melody or some music in your head, then you'll be able to reproduce it from your mind to the actual musical instrument or the recording. I got so much done during the quarantine. I got a lot done during the quarantine, man. I got a lot done. I was able to separate myself from everything and everybody. I was able to get sober. I was able to create all of my music. All my instruments are all in here.
How, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get sober?
I've been going to AA for about 15, maybe 20 years.
And during the pandemic, you just found like, okay, the time is now.
Well, yeah, because first of all, quarantine disconnected me from everything and everybody that I was doing and being in and living with. That means I got to separate myself from the bands, from everybody else, from the nightclubs, from the bars, from all of that. There's a lot of toxic energy out there, right along with the good energy too.
Yes.
There's a lot of good shit and there's a lot of bad shit out there. And so when I got to disconnect, I was here by myself. I was here with the wife too. Here where it's just me and my own thoughts. And I have everything here to get it done with. I got a drum set here. I got the organ here. I got my saxophones. I got my piano. I got my computer, my Logic. I got my mics. I got all this shit. I was working a lot in green screen too. So I taught myself that just from other people showing me how to do it. Set up my green screen in there. And I had a show called A Mirror of What? During the quarantine, where I got like a mirror. I got a mirror and I put a green screen in there and I play my favorite songs and my videos, not talk about them. Kind of what you doing now.
Saw you in May at Punk Rock Bowling. What was that experience like for you?
Punk rock bowling, right? So we played upstairs at a casino, at a pool top casino. You were there, huh?
Yes.
You
And
saw
I
that,
was
huh?
at the show as well, on the main stage, on the stage. Forget which stage it was. It was a whole lot going on that weekend. And
Whole
I was
lot
able,
going on. They had us on the stage in the corner. There was another
yes,
stage on the other side of the pool.
yes, yes, on Fremont Street at that one hotel right across the street from whatever that bar is called. But yeah, yeah.
And then I did this tour guide thing at the
That's what I was going to
yeah,
bring up next.
right, the
Yes.
tour guide. I was a tour guide at the Fat Mike's Punk Rock Museum, and I
Angelo.
did that for 2 days. That was pretty fun, man.
That was so incredible. I had no idea that you were such a phenomenal storyteller. Your stories were just mind blowing. They were incredible and they were funny and they were poignant and honest. I can't wait.
I kept asking the people before I went up in there. I'm like, man, what am I gonna talk about, man? What am I gonna say? They're like, man, don't worry, man. If you go in there and you start looking at the pictures, you'll know what to say.
And you did. And one of the pictures, and I actually still have it on my phone that I got, you probably can't see it, but it's you standing in front of the picture of HR, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? And you were talking about seeing them at the Olympic Auditorium in LA.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. It was, I don't know
Oh
if you remember what you
man,
said, but
was it the Olympic? Okay, it was either the Olympic or something like the Olympic, but I just remember seeing them, and it was a wild and crazy uproarious mosh pit, and I felt like I looked down, all I saw was skinheads and mohawks down there running in a circle and slamming up against one another. Then, after some blistering punk rock with the blistering tempos, they broke it down to some dub reggae, something shit I would have never expected, right? And that's when the weed smoke cloud started to formulate and rise up, because I was looking at it. I was sitting in, because I went back to the seats to sit down, and when they went to their reggae song, that's what I saw, and it instantly turned into like a marijuana den. Then after they played a couple of their reggae songs, it was like and the crazy part about it was the low end of the bass, the energy of the whole reggae sound, because it's not a lot of guitar, but you got bass and low end. So the way they had it going on, the whole bass and low end of the reggae matched the energy of the punk rock that they were playing. The reggae rumbled the building, but then the punk rock rumbled the building too, like a yin and a yang kind of way.
let me ask you, how was that for you as a black man to experience something like Bad Brains, where at that time you didn't have many black folks in the underground music scene?
Well, I thought to myself, well, man, at least I'm so glad I'm not the only one that's thinking like this. I thought to myself, well, this is definitely a validation point in my life, musically and artistically, because hell, I felt like it was okay to step the fuck out of the closet with that kind of stuff, with the extreme musical genres and state of mind and lyrics and consciousness. The thing I was always kind of chasing with Fishbone is that I wanted black people to understand our music, and just because it's fast tempos, some of the tempos can be really fast. It shouldn't turn anybody off because they call it white boy music, because it's got heavy guitars and got the hair flinging around and shit like that, and so black people they can be very conservative in their culture and their music, when it comes to stepping outside of R&B and reggae and funk and stuff like that, and jazz. But one day I realized, it's funny, man, because I always thought punk rock was all about just like straightforward, fast, hard, and mean. But when you listen to some gospel music has a lot of the same tempos as punk rock does. A lot of the fast tempos, except gospel is melodic and punk rock is angst. You don't have a lot of melody in punk rock, but you got a lot of angst and a lot of passion. And in gospel, you have a lot of passion, but you have melody, and it's more danceable too. So, and I was like, well, this gospel, these are my roots. It gave me a reminder that I could actually sing and add melody to my punk rock because of my gospel roots.
I gotta tell you, that first Fishbone album, I was a teenager and it just meant so much to me. I still have it. My original record.
Oh, I see it in the background. I see
Yes.
it. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I still have it. It just meant so much to me and still does. But I wonder, you wrote this music so many decades ago. People still love it. Is that weird for you? How does that feel for something you wrote freaking 30 years ago to people going, Angelo, will you please play this song?
I'm glad they give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they give a shit throughout the generations. I'm glad it is sticking around that long and it's still relevant because it's a lot of our history. You go to the vault or you go to the library and you see all of these old history books, and like when you go to the history class, you're learning all this old history and everything, and you see that some of these parts that are way back in the history are the same thing that some of the same stuff that you're doing now. It's just different because now we got the internet, we got cell phones, we got all of that stuff, right? We got all that, we got cars, electric cars now and everything like that, but a lot of the same attitudes and dances are still here. And some of the rhythms are still here. They're just not as pronounced as they were because they've morphed and they've transformed into something different as the time goes by. But I think people still like it because they can still hear where they can grab onto the roots of their past that they're familiar with, but they don't quite see it clearly, but they know that it's real familiar and they know that it's there because it kind of feels the same. But it's got a different icing on the cake this time.
Yes.
Or maybe a kiwi instead of a straw or a cherry on top.
What were you influenced by? What musicians were on your radar at the time of your first Fishbone record?
James Brown, Louis Armstrong, Wynonie Harris, Richard Pryor, Shaft, McFadden and Whitehead, the Rolling Stones, the Specials, the Selector, Madness, Fela Kuti. Carl Stalling was another one. And Raymond Scott was another guy. Those guys I grew up listening to during the Looney Tunes era. Raymond Scott, Carl Stalling, all the Looney Tunes music, all the Tom and Jerry shit, all of that.
Yes.
It just sinks into you when you're watching the cartoons and all that.
Yes, I grew up watching all those cartoons.
Right, and all that Disney shit. And so later on, as I'm listening to it, like a lot of Mel Brooks, it's a mad world and stuff like that. All that theater type of music, which is a part of my DNA, ends up coming out in the music that I make. Lots of theater. I like to put a lot of theater to my music,
Well, you're very theatrical. In the opening, that's one of the things that I mentioned is your stage presence. You have it's explosive. There's no other word for it. And when I think of like my favorite front people ever, obviously HR is one of them, as you well know, and yourself. And it's very interesting. It's fascinating to watch old footage of HR and seeing you live even today, all your energy. Like, what do you eat?
I'm trying not to eat a lot of junk food.
How do you maintain your energy level?
I'm trying not to eat
Seriously.
a lot of junk food. I'm trying to take my vitamins. I'm trying not to eat a lot of red meat.
A lot of red meat?
I'm trying, yeah.
Do you have an exercise regime? How do you keep your energy level so high?
Got a bike I ride every once in a while. Sometimes I go to the gym. I could always go more. I just like to dance. I like to get into the music is what I like to embody the music, and I like to let the music take me and transform me is what I like to do.
Yes. Yes.
So I guess that's the answer to that.
Yeah.
That's all we have. In my mind, as you could see behind me, all I have is like some crazy art shit behind me. This is my whole world. This is a medicine cabinet in here. And this is what I've got. This is all I got is the music and the dance floor and the art and intellect. It's got to stay woke. And to me, I don't know what that other woke shit means. Everybody's flipping their lid about. But I know woke for me is the past tense of being awake. That's what woke means to me. So if you're woke, that means you've tried your best to stay alert and aware and awake of the reality of your surroundings. There's some fishbone shit right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try to stay as woke as you can. Being awake to what's going on in the world around us as much as you can, and try to be as awake as you can without it destroying you or twisting your brain up to where you can't put one foot in front of the other. See, that's why I always tell people it's important to have your, try to play some kind of musical instrument, try to remember to write things down that bother you or that give you enjoyment or whatever, but try to write it down, so you can have a way to let it out later through some poetry or some spoken word, because a lot of people don't know how to do that, unfortunately. And that's why you got people running around with guns, shooting people and killing people, because they don't know how to express themselves in a positive way.
I agree with you 110%. What would you say, and I'm sure you're going to add that too, to up and coming musicians today, right? That may not quite have the confidence, but they know they really want to perform. They really want to be in a band, but they just lack that confidence. How can they bust out of that?
Well, first of all, ain't nobody going to say it if you don't. Unless you're a masochist and you want to just have that shit inside your head, kicking on the ends like a baby trying to get out, kicking over there, and kicking right there, kicking in the back there, just kicking it from the inside of your head out. So you got to be able to get it out, and you can't really care whether it sounds stupid or not. You just got to get it out of there, because that's expression. That lets the steam out. And the world is in a really fucked up place right now to where it's bringing a lot of heat and not the light. So, you got to be able to learn how to express yourself through music, art, lyrics, writing, whatever, and get it out and let people know what you're thinking. Because everybody wants to be understood and not misunderstood.
Yeah. Talking about expressing yourself, I have watched you and seen you wear such elaborate designs. When it comes to fashion, do you still create your own pieces? You have such elaborate looks that are phenomenal. Where does that come from, and what is that about, your fashion?
I just, I don't know. I guess I've had like an eye for a lot of colorful things. Growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, my mom always had me in suit and ties and stuff like that when I go out door-to-door Bible service. My dad dressed up in a lot of funky clothes too. He had a lot of nice suits, and so I was always, always seemed to be dressed up in some kind of way, and so it just became fun dressing up. Like you make yourself a Ken doll and you put on your different clothes and say, oh, look at that. Okay, let me try this one. Oh, God. Look at what I got on that. I got this kilt.
I mean, honestly,
I got this utility kilt. I got this from the kilt shop.
Right? The kilt shop. Now, where is the kilt shop at?
They got a kilt shop. I got it online, but they got a place called Utility Kilt in Seattle.
Incredible.
Shit, I got about 4 kilts. I got one kilt that's like a overalls on the top and kilt on the bottom. It's called From You Kilt, the damn near kilt 'em.
You wore one of these
Oh
kilts.
shit! Oh, I gotta show you this. Hold on, I gotta show you this.
Okay. You also wore one of these kilts. I need to, yeah, you have to see this. In this photo that I have from the Punk Rock Museum, you wore this white kilt. Do you remember that?
Yep, I sure did. Look at this here.
And it had a matching vest.
Oh yeah, I got that from Tokyo.
Oh, really? That's
Yep.
incredible outfit.
I got that from Tokyo, man. At the construction workers outfit store. I got the kilt from online. I got the vest from this Japanese construction workers place over there, outlet store in Tokyo. And every time I go over there, I always go shopping there, and I get a bunch of clothes.
A lot of my audience are independent artists, right? They're not behind a big music studio or a movie studio. They're independent artists creating and promoting their own stuff, whether it be music, jewelry, whatever. You just said the word entrepreneur. That's what it takes, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you learn how to get your stuff out there if you're doing it by yourself? Like, how do you know which channels to go down, what's going to work, what's not going to work?
Well, first of all, you can't wait on the big investor or the big supporter to come through. Even though that's what people always say. If you get a big investor and you get a big supporter, man, you're going to be set for life. You need to get an investor and a supporter, and you just get one of those, and you go out there waiting, and you're looking around, and you're waiting, and you're asking, and you're begging, and you're chasing and shit. Man, after a while, that gets to be a little humiliating. So what I feel like I've done, you put your bag, you put your wares, you tie it on the end of your stick, you throw it over your fucking shoulder, and you set out across the divide, metaphorically speaking. And with Fishbone, I've been fortunate enough to have Fishbone and a fan base and the merch table up there to put all my stuff on the merch table and have it there, because there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to have my solo creations as well as Fishbone. Of course, you put that out there and people will come and see what you want. And if they see you on stage and they see you putting out your all and giving it your all, they're going to want to know what you got to offer, and most likely they'll want to get it. Other than that, you can't be afraid to take it to the street corner or the boardwalk either.
And you have done that.
Just to know that you like it yourself, even if you're in the closet by yourself in the dark, you got to know you like what you're fucking doing.
When you first started, of course, there was no internet. There was no Instagram to sell your merch, sell your records. The way you guys started, I mean, how did you even get your music out there? We didn't have all this.
We went to the club and we sat up and played. Sometimes it wasn't nobody there. Sometimes it was a couple of people there. Sometimes it'd be a lot of people. But I remember those times when it wasn't nobody there, maybe two people just kind of drunk and staggering around in the front of the stage, and the rest of the club is empty except for the bartender and the security. You just have to believe in yourself and believe in the band that you're playing with and enjoy the band that you're playing with. Then maybe you could look out there and see, oh, look, there's some people. Hi. Hi, well, I'm glad you like it. And then going back around, turning the band and just get into yourself, man. Some good old artistic and musical masturbation.
I mean, watching you on stage, it is just so clear how much you enjoy yourself, and it just bleeds out into the audience and anyone that's watching you, your energy, your passion. And I am just so grateful that you have been able to make this music for all of us, because it's a gift to receive every time you show up. Last thing. It's true. Last thing before we wrap up here, Angelo, some philosophical fun, if you will. Do you, Angelo Moore, feel like you were put on this planet at this specific time in history for a particular reason, or do you feel your being here is just random?
Oh, I feel like I'm here for a reason. I've come to that conclusion lately after some good friends of mine and family have passed away. they've transitioned on to the other side, you know. And so I thought to myself, you know, certain people I never thought they'd be gone, you know, and they end up leaving. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, man. What if it was me? Nobody is going to get out of here alive. You know, and when you get to be around my age, I'm 57, I'm gonna be 58 this Sunday on the 5th, November 5th. And so, you know, I think to myself, this is the time where you at that ripe age either to be picked or you'll stay hanging on that tree. You know, but eventually all these fruits, we all gonna fall eventually. But, you know, in between now and the time of when that transition is going to be, what are you going to do to leave your mark on this world, to make the world a better place after you're gone? That's why we got to be thankful and grateful and take care of ourselves and treat each other nice, man. PMA, positive mental attitude. That's what HR talk about. So the bad brains talked about. That's what HR talked about. You know, keep that positive mental attitude, especially in these last days, critical times, hard to deal with.
What's the kind of legacy you want to leave behind?
A legacy that's going to enrich people's outlook and their use of their music and their artistic ability, their ability to spread the good magic.
And that's what you do. Keep spreading that good magic, Angelo. Thank you so much for being here. Next up, you can see Angelo December 16th and 17th, that's Saturday and Sunday in Las Vegas at the Punk Rock Museum. Make sure you get your tickets at punkrockmuseum.com, and that's Saturday and Sunday, December 16th and 17th. Thank you so much for being with me here today, Angelo. Because you're such a fantastic storyteller, and I think people are in such awe when they see you talk about punk rock and then your place in it and who inspired you, and oh yeah, I remember that guy, or oh yeah, I remember that club. It's just so cool to
yeah,
see.
because they really put a lot of that stuff in there, man. It's hard for me not to talk about it as I look at it, and it all starts coming up as I'm looking.
It's wonderful. It's so wonderful, and it's just natural.
I thought I had to study a script before I went up in there. They said, no, Angelo, you just go on in there and start looking around, man. You'll be okay.
and you got inspired. You started remembering stuff, and then you had stories. It was so fantastic. Yeah. I'm looking forward to December, and I hope a lot of people come.
All right, Angela. It's good.
All right, Angelo.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hey, it was good. I like this one. I like it a lot.
Okay, I like that. Peace.